This is the American Forces Vietnam Network.
Hardcore military.
Good morning!
Vietnam was going to be very different from the United States of America, except for all the beer cans and the barbecue. It was.
Attack! Attack! Get the fuck out of the hole! Move!
All right, podcast number 73. We're back here. We took a hiatus in April, but we're back with me, myself, Big Bay, Liam Wachter. We got Mike Ferrucci. Say what's up, Mike Ferrucci.
Hey, what's going on there, fellas?
And then we got Mr. Stephen Pawlak. Say what's up, Stephen Pawlak.
What's up, guys?
All right, so
Sorry.
you're fine. Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, we are actually just doing this on Discord, just because we've got so much going on that it's a little tough to get everyone down in one place. But next month, just to plug that real quick, next month will be the BAE podcast 2-hour oh my God, I can't even say it. The BAE podcast Come Correct 2-hour special podcast.
PodCast.
Yeah, so we'll have all the fellas down for that. It's usually a fun day too because we're just getting all the media done for the summer. We'll be recording that. We'll be recording the rules to come correct and a few other things that Steven has up in his little sleeve there. All right, so let's talk about something that has been a topic. It was a topic last week that a lot of people are asking about, and that's the meal pass for Operation Green Lightning. So just to be really simple with it, it's $100 for the week, and that's Sunday to Thursday, and that covers about 8 full meals and then like 7, snack meals for lunch. So we're going to be cooking you breakfast and dinner, and then lunch will be like a light snack in the middle of the day, and then we'll have prorated prices. So if you're coming just for Tuesday to Thursday, you can work it out where you're just paying for those meals and not just the full $100. The meal pass can be found on the events section of the BAE site. A guy who likes to eat like Ferrucci, we're constantly making improvements. And Ferrucci, you could say over the last few years, with last year being a little bit of an exception, but you feel that it's good value?
Oh, without question. You're paying for a week's worth of meals. I mean, because you'll be provided lunch and dinner, and whomever is behind the kitchen counter, does an excellent job making the meals, whether it's Stevie Boy or some guy from the Navy.
Right. I even made you a grilled cheese last year, man.
Yes, you did. It was a very, very delectable grilled cheese sandwich for you. So I appreciate that, Mr. Liam.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I mean, Steven worked hard last year. We made a lot of traditional Vietnamese food since it was an event that took place with an aid camp where the indigenous people would have been eating that kind of stuff. So this year we're going back to more of an Americanized meal plan. So if you were disappointed last year with the lack of Americanism, we're going back to it this year.
And just know we had so much leftover food last year, not because it was bad. People enjoyed it until their gastric system was giving them issues. But overall, it's not a skimpy meal. We definitely make sure you guys stay fed.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. I still think we should buy a bag of rice though. I think that was like the best value.
Oh yeah,
it was
like
$30 fed 1,000 people or something. It was like something crazy, bro. So I think we'll get a bag of rice just to supplement a lot of the food that we're cooking. But yeah, expect like the shit on the shingle back again. Shit on the shingle.
We did some French toast last year. That was good.
Yeah,
it was actually my first time making it ever too.
French toast is easy too. So I think and when I was doing a loose meal plan, I was planning to do French toast twice. So we'll do like French toast and eggs or something like that. I'm trying to think what else was really good. The minestrone was really good. I think we'll do
We
that.
did banh mi for breakfast one time.
Yeah, the
Banh mi was
breakfast,
really
yeah, the
good.
banh mi breakfast sandwiches. Yes, we did.
Mm.
So yeah, guys, I think the meal pass it's got to be done online. You can't do it on at the day of because it's a disaster trying to plan who's eating what for that day. So just for budgeting and acquiring the food before the event, it's easier for us to know who's eating and when and how many. So yeah, hop on the website. It's on brokenhourevents.com and it can be found in the events section next to Operation Green Lightning. All right. Move on to the next topic, which is our new and continued segment called Stirring the Pot. And this is, I would say, Steven, you want to introduce this one? It's your favorite topic as of late.
Absolutely. This has been something that's been grinding my gears for the last couple of months. Now that we're hitting Nomsoft season, all of the creepy crawlies come out of the basement and they decide that they know better all over the internet, but never in person. And if you know these people, they are what I lovingly and terribly unlovingly call the basement reenactors. These are those people that will never show up to any event, whether it's a living history, a reenactment, an airsoft game at a local field. They will never, absolutely never, but they have the strongest opinions and they will let you know. And I hate them.
So they're internet trolls essentially, because I would say you're explaining the extreme of that example, right?
Of course.
I would say at best they're going to maybe an airsoft game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But they'll
right?
show up to take pictures with their friends in the woods kind of thing.
Right.
Mhm.
And are you including those guys who think the only impression or the only good impression is a 1-for-1?
Oh, I mean, I love one-to-one kits, but 100%. There's so much nuance with all
Yeah.
of these things, and yeah, they're a very black or white kind of person.
Right. And there's something like that you and I talked about the other day where I said me personally, let's use SOG, because that always seems like everyone has a SOG kit when they start out because it's like the extreme cool guy operator, and you have guys who just throw whatever together, which is sure it's a movie level impression, which I'm saying is it's what they think they see in a movie. Imagine Ben Stiller from Speed Tugman from Tropic Thunder.
Oh, Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the guys who do the 1-for-1, and then my whole take on it is I'm not trying to emulate anyone from the 60s, let's say, right? I am immersing myself in that situation. So my impression is based on what I would prefer to use and what's available to me at that time if I was that soldier. Now I understand that it takes restraint to not just go nuts and carry every single thing possible, but I look at it as all right, if I was a 1-0 on an RT, I would do this and this. For instance, I'm one of the few guys I know that does the sprayed fatigues, with the black stripes. I would do that and say canteen covers all the way around. I don't know if anyone's done that, but it's been done. It's not something I'm doing crazy. You know what I'm saying? Steven, you can attest to that because you're kind of doing a mix of both.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm one who has a one-to-one direct kit of a MACV SOG guy, and I love that, and I've researched it to all ends. I've talked to him personally. But as soon as you step outside of that, where you're building an impression kit, then that's when you can become a reenactor. Reenacting isn't copying what one guy does. Reenacting is finding yourself in that situation. And exactly as Liam said, it's immersing. And I feel like that's what a lot of people, especially these basement reenactors, lose sight of. Because truthfully, they're never going out to the field and using that equipment.
No.
They're taking pictures in their basement. They don't have the opportunity to see, oh, I don't really want to carry a Claymore bag on the front of my chest, because that's going to be slapping me around all day.
Right.
Maybe I can do something a little more specific to what I want to use, you know?
Think about this, Steven. They're basing it off of one picture. That guy's been there for a full year's tour. He's probably worn the same shit that a generic non 1-for-1 impression, considered. Do you know what I mean? You circle back to the reenacting point. Think about it. I've done 3-day LERP missions at Milsims in my SOG kit, so I know what works and doesn't work for me. So that's what I'm going off of. So I had the bar belt for a while. I really didn't like the bar belt, so I went back to the canteen covers just to carry more ammo. But then I was like, all right, now I'm the 1-0 that likes to carry a radio, like John Stryker Meyer did, right? So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to a little lighter load. So I went back to the bar belt and I carried the radio just to kind of have a lighter load instead of being packed with magazines. So like it's based on my experience, and I'm sure those guys during their year tour went through that themselves.
Oh, without a doubt. There's so I also do modern KSK reenacting, as I've talked both your ears off. There's these guys that I've interviewed have shown me pictures of their kit from when they first started, like their first deployment, to when they are 10 years in. And some stuff stays the same, but they have adapted and changed so much. It's like almost unrecognizable in some cases. Like there's so much, again, so much more nuance that goes on with these, and there's all respect to people who can build the one-to-one accurate kit and do it right. But that's not what I mean. BAE as a whole, we reenact. We don't take pictures in the basement or the backyard.
But that's the thing too. Like if you see my collection, you can be like, oh, this guy's a fucking hoarder. But it's like I would say 75% of the stuff I have, it's been used, it's gonna be used, or it's constantly used. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. So I guess the lesson here, Steven, correct me if I'm wrong, is that a lot of these basement reenactors need to go out and touch grass.
100% touch grass. Yep.
Without a doubt.
And that even goes back to like, guys who base their their grunt, how you like think about every year we get this. We get guys who are showing me one picture of a grunt wearing Converses, and he's basing his entire impression for a BAE event off of that picture. Now the Converse thing is that's I'm picking that out of the air. That really didn't happen. But I'm saying like we get guys like that, and it's like just come as a regular guy in his jungle fatigues with his jungle boots, a helmet with a cover, and your M56 gear with an M16. Like that's it. Like it's
easy.
Yeah. Like you don't have
the worst part is about those people too, is that they'll make it their whole personality to like be right about it.
Yes.
Which I think is the challenge. Their minds don't change as easily as someone who puts on the gear for more than 20 minutes.
Right. Yeah. In the sun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's
go ahead, Ferrucci, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say I feel like that's it's definitely lost on those who, like I said, haven't been out in the field and really figured out. Because I mean, I know we can speak for the three of us. I mean, with our very first Vietnam kits, and I think they just need to understand that what things need to, like I said, things change over time. It's never. I mean, I know I'm just kind of reiterating, but the problem is that they're so stuck on one picture. Like I know, like I said. Like my kit or Liam's kit, like we didn't base our kits off a picture that we found. I mean, yeah, we did our research and this and that, but like we kind of, still kept an open mind. And I think that's the biggest problem with them is they don't have an open mind to, hearing other opinions or absorbing new information, or just like I said, or that personal wherewithal to realize, hey, you know what, something's not working. I got to change it from
right.
Like my machine gunner kit is completely, it's pretty different from 4 years ago. Liam, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's evolved over time based on, but you evolved it based on your usage and your experience, but it still has that foundation of research, years of research and building that kit.
Right. I mean, because like even up to a year or two ago when, I was really talking to Paulie and, even, the smaller nuances like changing, my rucksack and, how it's been prepped together.
Yep.
It's one of those things like I had to hear somebody else tell me that, and I, rather than being a stubborn, being stubborn about it, I'm just like, hey, you know what? He's onto something. And you know what? I want it to be more applicable for when I'm, out in the field. And it actually helps me rather than hurt me.
Right, but at the end of the day, though, Ferrucci, you kept like, let's say you started out as a 1-for-1 impression of some picture you saw. It's like, oh, I wanted to be Duffy from from
Oh,
Hamburger
from
Hill.
Hamburger Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, like you changed it over time. You took
Yes.
people's opinions and their experiences. Like think about this too. Like look at like this, Ferrucci. You took
Yeah.
Steven's um, advice, who's technically been doing this half the time as you, and you're still open to
Yeah.
his opinions and his experiences.
Yes,
So
because honestly, like I said, there's people out there that have dug a little bit deeper into their research than myself, and you know what? I want to, like I said, keep an open mind to that. I can't just be like, oh, who's Steven to tell me I've been in this much longer? Like, absolutely not. He had different ideas that made sense, rather than just putting up an ego and be like, you know what? I know more than him. No, absolutely not. I want to just I want my kid to, obviously be a representation of myself, but, and obviously being, 100% authentic. But you know what? I want something that works for me and something that's not going to become a pain in the ass, which, because that was part of the struggle when I first joined Broken Arrow was, trying to find the right equipment to put together. Because at that time, I didn't even have, Liam, you remember that shitty repro bag I had to
yeah,
carry those HPA tanks? Like,
yeah.
obviously, I've come a long way with that, but, obviously, I need to get, the right rucksack and how to set it properly. And, like I said, those smaller
But
details that, yeah,
right, and then Ferrucci, the thing about it, to tie that into the conversation is
yes,
you're using it. You're
yes,
using it in application, right? You're actually out in
yeah.
the field. You're using it. You're not just sitting there taking pictures. I don't even think I've ever seen you with a picture of your kit in your bedroom. Like
No,
if anything, you're probably one of the most photographed guys. But they're all at
mhm,
events in the field, or actually at least on a base, on
yeah.
on the Vietnam era base.
Yeah, and like I said, I just want to be a good representation, and obviously, like I said, if I do decide to post it on, social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, I want it to, like I said, be like I said, a rather striking picture. Like, wow, that's a really, it's a really well put together kit, and you know what? It's not something that I just saw in one picture. It just, and I hope some people can, understand. Look, it's going to take time, and you just have to hear, you have to talk to the right people about it, and figure it out. And I think sometimes they might be afraid to leave their comfort zone, quite
Oh
frankly.
yeah, I mean,
Mooch.
especially. Go ahead,
Oh, go
Steven.
ahead.
Go ahead,
I was
Steven.
gonna say the most important part about that, Mooch, is when you post those pictures, you have an event producer to tag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I not that I really I've seen a couple of basement reenactors, on the groups, etc. But they I feel like they're way too closed off in their own world. Like, they really need to just open themselves up. And I know some people, and I know maybe I'm cutting into other different topics on this, but they can't handle criticism. They can't handle other people, giving them information, not shoving it to them, or gatekeeping or whatever. And it just, causes this sort of vicious cycle within our community, because it's like, oh, these, Broken Arrow are these jerks. And it's like, that's not the case. We're trying to help people. We're not trying to, disavow anybody, or, not have anyone involved. Like, you just gotta, have like an open mind to what you gotta do, and not just have one picture justify everything you do. You gotta really just go out of your way to, spend maybe a little bit extra money on different items or whatever, and really set things, up correctly to your liking.
Mooch, let me jump in on that. And so,
Sure.
if all of the basement reenactors who might be listening to this haven't already clicked off out of anger, this is a call out to you. This is a loving, open hand. I know I said I didn't like you in the beginning, but truthfully, I do believe that you have the ability to go and do awesome displays and awesome performance at events and all that. I highly encourage you to just try it out. And we're not going to be mean to you. We're mean on the internet, but everyone is. We encourage you to just try it. And you're always welcome.
I think we're too nice on the internet. If we,
I'm patient, I would say. More and
yeah,
more patient. Because
yeah,
No,
I'm
we're
a little
definitely,
snobby sometimes.
because there are other groups, as you've seen, that are kind of abrasive, and then they, unfortunately turn people away. So I'm kind of, I am glad that we are more I know I'm probably using a soft term, like I guess a little more empathetic. There we go, a little more empathetic, and being able to just let them speak their mind, but at least we're not going to attack them. Worst thing they can do is not sign up, and then we never have to see them.
Mhm.
If you do sign up, at least you know what you're getting yourself into. Don't worry, you're not going to get pointed and laughed at or whatever. But it's like, hey, where it's in a weird way, it's almost like a support group what we got going on, because we're always trying to make people better. I know I mentioned earlier, like Steven, has helped me out. I've helped out a few other fellas, but that's the whole point of it, is just to try to
Yeah, I mean the ultimate goal is to get you to come to events.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I guess if you're saying we're calling out the basement reenactors, it's like, no, yeah, we may be calling you out, but no, we're enticing you. We're trying to get you to come and attend our events.
Well, come to our events and have an awesome experience, and like I said, and open your mind. I know I've said that a couple of times, but just like I said, expand that horizon, and like I said, understand that everyone here has not looked at one picture and based their entire look on it.
All right.
Wait,
So,
you haven't? I did.
Oh, Mark Herman, pleasure you to
Hello.
join us.
I didn't know we were having a meeting tonight.
We're
no,
having
we're
a
not.
podcast.
Just having a little powwow.
We're having a
Yeah.
podcast. We're actually in the middle of recording the podcast.
Oh well, I apologize.
Well, you're in you're on the podcast.
We're the special
right.
guest, the head Pavin himself, Marcus Herman.
Yes.
Very rare Pavin representation in the
Of
podcast.
course.
Yes.
I know Zach Boylan used to be on pretty consistently.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Well, hold on, because the segment that I think we're going to get to next, I think Mark might have an interesting
Yes.
comment on. I don't want to put him on the spot, but if he wants to stay on for another minute or so,
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good time to jump over Liam.
Yeah, I am. I'm changing topics now. So yeah, Mark, you actually came in perfect time. Let me introduce him to the listeners. So yeah, we got Mark Herman, who's the head of the NVA cadre, the Pavin cadre for Broken Arrow events. And the big news this week was that we were updating our standards for the NVA Pavin uniform, which were allowing the green version of basically the uniform, which I guess it goes with our timeline, right? It goes with our mid to late war time frame. So with some deliberation and we always did agree with everybody when they said, "Oh, well, green would be appropriate," and blah blah blah. We understood that the goal was that we wanted to kind of streamline and add uniformity to the NVA, but I think with the impression in general, and I would say for the most part, our guys that show up, new or old, all look good. So I think we've kind of agreed that we can now evolve into allowing another set of uniforms. Mark Herman, you have anything to comment about that?
Yeah, I would say that uniformity is the word that was really keeping us going in the tan direction as long as we did. But truly, green uniforms were filtering into the mix, at least in the late 60s. So this is a move in the right direction as far as authenticity goes. I think it is necessary that we do this, and I'm glad we're making this step forward.
What do you plan to wear this summer?
Oh, I'm sticking tan. Only because I don't have a green uniform for myself yet.
There you go. Okay. All right.
Two things. He said yet number one, but also historically, from the research I've done into the Pavin side, leadership did have tan uniforms for some extra time, from what I've seen. So he wouldn't be exactly farb if he wore tan for a little longer.
There you go. All right. Yeah. Yeah. It's just if you were on the fence for our events and it was just because we didn't allow green, now you have your chance to attend. I don't know why that would have kept you if you had the full kit anyway, but yeah, we're happy to have anybody on the NVA side. Obviously, I want to say we're still waiting on a few guys to register, but it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad right now. So yeah, if you have a green uniform, now's your time. Mark, you want to hang on to the podcast, or you gotta go?
Well, I will say I was just out walking the dog
I hear her
when I
jingling.
said here, and I thought I'd hop in and say hello. So I am just about done here.
Okay.
But it was a pleasure to join you for a few minutes, and
Yeah.
perhaps I'll be back in the future.
All right, we're
Oh, we
doing it
hope
live,
so,
guys. I'm not even gonna edit this
Yeah.
out. I'm not even gonna
All
edit
right.
this excursion out.
All right.
Dogs get
Yeah.
views.
Woo!
Okay, let's move on then, fellas. Okay, so another segment that's continuing is the FAQ, where we have people ask us questions. This topic is a question we get almost every year, and I want to say the last week or so, I've had 3 inquiries to me directly about it, and it's literally, what do we do about food? So, I'll give Anthony F the credit for asking this because he's the one who's asking me most, and he kind of I told him that I was recording the next podcast. I will answer his question. All right, so I'll mention the meal pass, which is something if you're showing up before all the patrolling and in the week of base life immersion, we have the meal pass. Personally, I still would bring some kind of snack or something to have, for the week supplemental. You'll be doing a lot of work, more work than you're probably used to, burning calories. So yeah, bring something to eat, bring something to feed, the snack on. I usually bring like fruit or something like that. But specifically for the patrolling, so let's say that's the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A lot of guys just bring MREs. They would rat fucking MRE and just put it into their rucksack like that. We have guys who paint SpaghettiOs, guys who don't, they just take the label off and leave it bare. That's fine. Then we have guys like Buck and Sabia who actually repro sea rats and make cans and crackers and all that stuff. Ideally, you want to be able to feed yourself 3 times a day, just like water. You need over a gallon a day. I actually was talking to my doctor, and it's not about what you're drinking; it's about how much you're peeing out. That was from a urologist. So that's kind of like how I'm going with it regarding water. Steven, I know. Were you the one who reproed LERP rations with the sandbag?
Yeah, so I call those my poor man's LERP rations, and they serve a double duty. So the material, the Mylar bags that the LERP rations were originally in, they're not really like sandbags, but if you look from 20 feet away, sure. But here's the deal. You rat fucking MRE, you take out all the contents you don't want, you keep the ones that you do, which is usually, I strip it down to the utensil, the meal, and maybe an extra snack with it. All the additional snacks stay in my pockets, so I don't have to go going through my ruck on patrols. But anyway, you put that in a sandbag and you wrap it tightly and do a little bit of that green tape just to make it kind of look like the same size as a LERP ration. And then not only do you have the meal in a compact package, but you also have a trash bag because we always pack in, pack out. No extra trash gets left behind. There's no trash pickup. So if you can keep it in a contained source and have a large enough bag for trash in general, that's a win in my book. So that's what I do. I call it the poor man's LERP ration.
Ferrucci, what do you do as someone who eats a lot?
As you know, I kind of live up to the animal pile name, with literally eating out of the can itself. I usually pack maybe about 12 to 15 MREs for the week. Different flavors. It could be pizzas, tacos, shredded pork. I know Steven has seen personally, I would drink out of a Chef Boyardee can.
Oh, I've
And,
done that next to you. It's normal.
because I just don't have the patience to warm up my meal. I need food. I need nourishment. And, I just want to eat. Obviously sometimes I'll, walk over to the kitchen and try to, sniff out some food from Paulie.
Yeah, usually he gets chased out of the kitchen. Him and Dean Facca are going to be competing for that next year, or rather this year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I mean, look, Faka, he's a growing young man. I'm sure he's gonna, it's gonna be a fight between him and I for who's gonna, acquire the most nutrition and nourishment for our duties.
I'm going to cut him off there because this is going to get on a tangent. I want to just reiterate his nutrition point. And Liam mentioned it earlier with the fruit. Definitely bring some fruit. We don't really
Yeah.
like keep a big stock of it in the mess tent because it spoils quickly. So if you could
Yeah.
bring canned fruit, just things that'll get you some extra vitamins, strongly recommend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
just don't complain
that's
about.
like my cans. I'm gonna change my. I have to change my diet because I've had kidney issues with kidney stones, and I'm not, attributing them to what happens at the events, but I'm sure that doesn't help. So I'm probably gonna try to cut out the Chef Boyardee stuff, and I've always carried fruit. Like a lot of times, like even on overnights, I would just have like 3 cans of pineapple and fruit salad, and that's what I would eat over the time. Maybe like an MRE meal, which isn't that great for you either. Um, but yeah, cans of fruit, chicken salad I eat, which is really salty, which may be good if you're been sweating a lot. Obviously, you need to stay hydrated during all this, eating all this crap like fruity. You're probably pretty well hydrated to be eating those Chef Boyardees because you eat like 3 of them in a sitting, bro.
Yeah, I have, but I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because what was it? What was it? Tuesday or Wednesday of last year? I'll just be straightforward. I had, I had 3 consecutive Chef Boyardees, and they kind of left me dehydrated because we were still whatchamacallit, digging out the bunkers,
Yep.
and I was hacking away, but after a while, like I'm not even like 10, 15 minutes, I'm like starting to huff and puff and starting to sweat like crazy. I'm like, maybe I should just take it easy a little bit, because I
Yeah.
realized what I'd eaten, and I was like, you know what? I should really lay off all that sodium. And that's also, and then going back to the nutrition, definitely pay attention to what's on those nutrition labels. Like obviously, like the Chef Boyardees, they range from like 600 to almost 1,000 milligrams of sodium. That
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
an
No,
exorbitant.
yeah, like a lot of them are like 80% of your sodium intake daily. It's
Yes,
insane like how much is in there. And I
and
know
I
like
didn't do my. Yeah.
it's been the go-to for so long, but like I said, this year I'm going to try to change it up a little bit and maybe it is just sticking with fruit. I don't know. I mean, fruit. Why don't you look into cans of corn? What about that? Could you eat a? Do you think you could eat a can of corn?
Well, I know this is. Well, I don't want to turn into a nutritional podcast, but I feel like there really isn't much nutritional value from corn.
No, I know. I'm joking because I
I
think
know,
it'd be
I
hilarious if
know,
you're
but
just eating a can of corn.
it just doesn't benefit you. It
As a
just doesn't.
vegetarian, I've done that though. It's just a can of
I,
peas and a can. It's so good though.
Can of peas
I,
is
d-
probably better for you, or a can of
Yeah.
yeah, can of
carrots.
peas. I will definitely have a
Yeah,
can of peas over a can of corn.
carrots would be
It's
good
just
too.
carrots, absolutely. And that's the other thing. I know I'm just speaking for myself personally, but just trying to be more health oriented this time around, so I don't get exhausted from just, quite frankly, taking the lazy route out and just eating a Chef Boyardee and calling it a day. I'll rather just take my time, pick out some fruit,
Yep.
and then be able to work through the entire day, not worry about like, holy shit.
While while this is a nutrition podcast, we should do a BAE's Biggest Losers program,
Hmm.
so you can lose the
Oh
most from
boy.
Saturday to Sunday over the
Yeah.
full week.
Casey said I look
That
like I
would,
lost a lot of weight from Ben Head,
Yeah,
which is probably true. I probably
I
did.
I
you
took
probably
it all
lost
from
like.
you.
Well, you were the one who's
No,
stocking up on all that tofu.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the food, what was it, pho that you made? Or what was the one that freaking destroyed Jim's lower intestine?
Oh, that was my ban chung.
Yeah.
Bang Chung, that shit was good. That was good. I mean, sorry, Jim, for your, issues, but man, that shit was good
It
though.
was spicy, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
I loved it, man. I absolutely loved it. And I know we were talking about how we're gonna Americanize, but like some of you guys, like you gotta try some of these Vietnamese dishes. Like I was on the same path too, and I was like, all about American food, but like you gotta expand your palate once.
Maybe we'll do one night with a Vietnamese dish. Like I
All right.
honestly I thought the bamboo shoots were better than I thought.
Yeah.
like how they tasted, like that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe we'll do like a meat, like a chicken and a rice
Hmm.
with some broth, like Vietnamese broth. I don't
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Um,
was excellent.
so I don't know if this answers your question, Anthony. I don't know. We just went on a tangent, but it kind of gives you ideas of like what guys eat on base and then what they eat in the field. I think if MREs are usually the go-to choice for most everybody, and then you get, like I said, the guys who will bring a can of ravioli, Chef Boyardee ravioli or beefaroni or whatever, and then you get guys who take the initiative and repro C-Rat cans from scratch, and that's really cool. And then you get guys like we were talking, like myself, like I rock a lot of fruit in a can because even like you eat the physical fruit, but then the juice is pretty refreshing if you've just been drinking water the whole time. It's sugary though. It is sugary, but you be eating worse things.
Hmm.
All right. So, like I said earlier, we did skip the April podcast, so we did a lot during April, into May, coming into May. So did we do since the last podcast? So we had the Duffel Bag Military show, which I thought was a success. We bullied what two or three guys to sign up right there and then for the big event.
Hmm.
We threw in like an incentive, like, hey, here we'll give you a carabiner and sign up, and so that was pretty successful. We had a few guys interested. Hopefully they follow up or have followed up and they signed up and we just didn't know. We didn't put the name to the face yet or something. But yeah, we would love to go. We're gonna go back again in the fall. Um, we were selling our basic PX items, which we sold a decent amount of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the overall goal though is to kind of do outreach and spread the word of what we're doing with broken hour events, and that's why even I try to explain with like our stuff. It's like, yeah, we actually have a functioning PX on our base at our event, and this is the kind of stuff that we sell at the PX, and people go like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I kind of like that. I want to talk to Sabia and try to expand our table. Um, but yeah, it's always a fun time. It's always a fun time, and seeing all the different tables and all that stuff. It's like kind of a museum that you can buy stuff.
Hmm.
And we also recorded the was that is that the third episode of Shopping with Bay there?
Yep, third
Yeah,
episode, and it was a fun one too. We
yeah.
saw we saw quite a few really cool things. I know personally, I did some shopping for myself in addition to the show, and I got some great deals. We showcased some cool stuff on it. So if you haven't already checked it out, definitely do, and see if you can spot anything that we missed.
Hell yeah. All right, and then the next thing we did was Field Infantry Training Class 0704, which, given the the lower numbers than we usually get, it was still pretty successful. I changed the curriculum pretty drastically. A lot of Bears lessons we did keep, and I just added a few more things to kind of change it up for the guys that have gone. And I think it's some stuff was useful for the new guys, and returning alike. Now, Ferrucci, I think you've gone to every single one. Would you
Yeah.
say the review of like the map reading and I think the formations and stuff on we were a little more academic than what Bear does.
Yes.
Did you like that? Did you like that, or would you rather go back to what Bear does, or kind of like a hybrid of both?
So for what we had, I mean, albeit yes, the attendance and the weather obviously didn't
Right.
permit us to really do much. I liked it was actually a different change of pace, which I've mentioned to you on the side of how much I liked, just sitting down and kind of like really taking it all in. Like I don't get me wrong, did I kind of miss Bear kind of yelling at me and just doing like barrel rolls, etc. And really, focusing on, so yeah, yeah. But it was also nice, just really like taking a grasp, like, really showing what Okoka was and, sills and
Right.
and and just being and showing the slides, like it was kind of neat, especially because you had the projector on, and I know it's all about the immersion and just just showing what you and Jim were able to present to us, in a very formal and factual manner. It really, it was very, it made things a lot easier to take in. I mean, yeah, I've been doing it for years, but it's like now I really see, okay, this is what, how it all comes together, though.
Right.
Even things like, obviously, I don't, even though I have no intentions of becoming RTO, but I thought it was very informative and fascinating to give proper call signs.
Oh, for the
you
radio
know
course.
yeah, stuff like that, because sometimes we don't always have the time for it.
Right.
And I liked, like I said, just sitting there writing my notes and just being, like I said, just really taking it in, rather than just like, oh my god, I got to worry about falling to formation, or maybe obviously we always, like, I don't want to like spoil it, but like, I know sometimes we have like the night attacks
Right.
and stuff
Right.
like that. But it's nice to just kind of, I guess, a little more calm environment. Now, obviously, I know we did walk outside and we did like our walkthrough, which was, pretty cool. I mean, I know it was albeit slow pace, but it was still, it was still a good way to really, especially for me, to really take all that information and really, like I said, especially if I, do become a squad leader for any event or anything. It's like, all right, now I have an idea of how to cross the
Right.
road and everything, and not have to worry about, overthinking it or anything. So it was definitely a big benefit for anybody, uh, to have gone to that particular event. Especially that young kid. I think it was his name's Gavin. It was
Yeah.
really
Oh
neat to
yeah.
have
He was, yeah, and he was asking some good questions. So um
absolutely, and that's why I like to see, younger kid, younger
so
individuals. Yeah,
so I want to do it next year. I think we,
yeah,
if we're allowed to go back, we do it on Long Island. It's just that's where it is. My
yeah.
thing is, I think we need to add a class minimum, and I might have mentioned this to Steve a couple months ago, and I think we just need to do a
Hmm.
class minimum, like,
All right.
and it's whether it's 8 guys, 10 guys, I don't know yet. We got to figure out what's worth, what's it worth for us to do it. Um,
Hmm.
I well, I think we ended up with 7 guys, 7 or 8 guys. I think it was 8 man class, and I thought
Yeah.
it was worth it. And I hate, like, we have 8 guys who want to come and learn, and I don't want to deny them
Right.
that. And that's kind of where we have to make the choice of, do we cancel the event or do we just go ahead with it? And that's why I was like, all right, we'll go ahead with it. And these 8 guys now are getting that much more attention from the guys teaching. And
Of
so,
course.
yeah, we need to decide next year, like, what we're doing. But yeah, with that class, if I knew I was going into it again with that class, I would do it hands down.
Right.
So, all right. So then the next thing that happened or was the Orange Military Show, which was kind of driven by Sully. He had all of his trucks on display. I know Randy Diamond went and Steven went. And Steven, you said it was a pretty good time.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was definitely small. I would say, in terms of like engagement, we definitely didn't have as many as we had with the duffel bag. But then again, I only went for half of it, so I could only make it on Sunday when it was a full Saturday Sunday event. So I know Randy talked to a lot of people on Saturday. He was the guy that was there for both days, so good on him. Shout out. But yeah, I had a lot of fun. We got some good deals. We met some other reenactors. A lot of the guys that we saw at the Duffel Bag Show, including the 2 that signed up then, were also there on Sunday. So they came and hung out with us for a bit, chatted with us. Our Pavan reenactors were there as well. So it was a good time to just get everyone together, meet other people in the general, larger, broader community, but talk to some other people too. So I enjoyed it. And Sully's trucks were there, and a lot of the people that were just general attendees enjoyed seeing those too.
Yeah, it sounded like a good time. It was a last minute decision for me not to go.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret it now because I was kind of put all my eggs in a basket to go to the show next week, but it looks like that might be falling through from the BAE point of view. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. Okay, So next thing that's coming is FTX, which we sort of postponed. We're just we had a few guys drop out, and again, like, circling back to the class size, where I think we need to do a class minimum for an event like that as well. So we just postponed it so we can hope to get more guys going. And I think the consensus was, let's just do it as like a kind of a camping trip in 60s era gear. And that's what we're gonna do and call it. So we had a decent amount of guys sign up, but then one thing led to another, and a lot of these guys they just couldn't go. So we were gonna continue on with it with just our small group, and then we all decided, like, hey, you know what? Let's do a media day instead, and we'll postpone this to a date where we can get more people to the come, especially the guys that signed up that had something pop up and couldn't make it. So yeah, that's another thing though. I think was such a fun event. It was like one of my favorite things that we did last year. So I
It
do
was
want to
awesome.
continue. Yeah, I do want to continue doing it because it yeah, it's just a camping trip with the bros. Seriously.
Yeah. And you get to learn how to, navigate with a compass and, use your azimuth and everything,
Yep.
and read a map. And,
Yep.
that once again, very informative and obviously obvious and just helpful for your survival, if you're
Yeah.
ever out in the woods.
If you get lost, you kind of know where to go.
Exactly.
All right. So now, yeah, I'm talking about the future. So the next Bay event we have is Mobile Guerrilla Force, and that's really shaping up to be possibly the best of the Mike Force series we've done. And I was explaining to the guys earlier, like, I'm especially excited for that event. Steven's been doing a little bit of work into it, organizing his I guess attached units, or he's attached to the Arvin unit as the advisory cadre. But
Mhm.
and Ferrucci, you're going as NVA for this time,
Pavin.
right? Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've been going to as a Pavin for last, 3 years in a row,
Yeah. Oh
maybe
yeah.
four.
Is it 4? Yeah.
Wait a minute. No, 3 years in a row. I take that back because the first one was when we were in Connecticut, when you and I
Yep.
we were sleeping on the side of the hill was it that smaller place in Connecticut
Oh,
we
then
went to
Ferrucci, this
was
will be your 4th time, bro.
yeah.
Because remember, we did Lashes, we did Connecticut, we did
Yep.
Telecom, and then this year we're doing Spiros. So
Yeah, 4 years.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, man. Yeah, but
Look.
the Pavin
Mhm.
the Pavin Force, they're like the all-star team of the Pavin Force.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Someone was asking me, he asked us on the Discord. He's like, "How many people go?" I was like, I'm not gonna give numbers, but the guys that are going are good. Like they're they're gonna give us a run for our money.
But
So
that's how it always is. That's
yeah,
how it always is. It's always in my and we've always discussed this on other review podcasts we've had in the past. It's usually the tougher fights because, they're smaller. Well, I mean, last year we had 15, 20 guys, and that was some very hard fighting.
yeah.
Obviously, Paulie and I, gave a good beat down on the GIs that time around. Unfortunately, you're on the green side. I know you were talking
Mhm.
about green uniforms for the NBA, but it's unfortunate you're not going to be, Uncle Ho's buddy with me.
Nope, I'm gonna be leading the Arvin, and we're coming for you.
How dare you? I'm quite appalled at you, and you're gonna have to pay dearly for it.
Right.
No, it is.
but yeah, it's gonna be at Spiros's property
Yeah,
in Civil War Lane in
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, PA. This will be the third event or third year we've used that place now, or is it the 4th year we've used that place? Third year.
No, I think our first year was 22.
So this is our
First,
so
Third year.
third year.
third year, yeah. So third year, but it's the 4th year of like the relationship with Gettysburg, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's just I love that venue for what it is, and I think doing the event where we always historically did this event on like pretty large property like Tolcom, and a lot of times the smaller numbers in our bigger event, a lot of times guys bypass each other. Now I think like if you're gonna run into each other, it's gonna be like really close and like intimate fighting. We're gonna be on top of each other a little bit, but the foliage and the brush and the terrain, it's so thick in places like you're gonna have to get up close to shoot each other anyway. So I'm really excited for that. There's one part of the property that I'm really excited to be sending people through on patrols. And Pawlak probably has an idea of what I'm talking about.
Think so.
Yeah, it almost killed Stramp.
He'll make it this time, though.
Hell yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
Stramp's
go ahead, Frucci.
I was gonna say, Stramp. He may look. I know he. Obviously, he looks like what you imagine what an engineer looks like. But he's a tough little cookie, and he'll handle it.
I could see his face reacting to you calling him a little cookie.
Yeah, they'll twitch in his mustache.
With the disappointed furrowed eyebrow. Oh yeah.
Yeah. What the hell are you talking about, Ferrucci? Like, I talk about whatever I want to talk about. All right,
He'd be
Strampy.
like, what the hell? That's what he'd say.
Yeah.
What the hell?
But yeah, Mobile Guerrilla Force. That's Saturday, June 28th to the Sunday, June 29th. We'll be up there as early as Friday, probably like midday. And I am offering, if anybody's listening on either side, I am offering to do a crash course of what we teach at FTX. So a little bit of navigation course, which I really like the Arvin kids to come, because then I can fulfill my dream of being like a cadre advisor for, like a Sigi force. Be kind of cool.
There you go.
Okay, so let's move on to the big event, which is our last topic of the podcast. Hopefully you've lasted this long. We're almost hitting an hour, but like I said, you guys didn't have a podcast last month. So, all right. So that's Operation Green Lightning I'm talking about. And we had a decent amount of registrations for the event last week. But still, like, guys need to register. Like, I have goals in my head that I want to reach, and like, we're gaining on them, but we're not there yet. So I want, and I know we have, I think when I do my list, we have like another like 15 to 20 guys that like I'm expecting to register on top of already who has. So like, get on it. Like, just fucking register. Price is gonna go up sometime in July, probably the first week of July. The prices are going up to $200. So if you want to get some money off, like, sign up now. It's $175 for the GIs, and I left the NVA price down to $150 just to give them a little bit of a boost. So if you're listening and you're thinking about being NVA in your green uniform, you can spend $150 instead of the GIs $175. So yeah, get on that. We have a lot of stuff planned, not just for the patrolling, which I'll say this: if guys felt that we didn't have enough action last year at Ben Hit, which I beg to differ, I think we had plenty of action. Us knowing the property a little better this year may make for some more firefights. I'll say that much.
Nice.
Yeah. But we have the baseball game, we have the Christmas party, we have the traditional Vietnamese games, and then we're also filming a new movie. I wouldn't call it a sequel to the Junction City movie, but I want to film something in that light, very similar to that. So all like collected footage that we can get. So if you want to be in the movie or have at least a speaking role, is what Cassidy says, you got to come early. And we'll probably do like stuff on Tuesday or Wednesday during the day, just to kind of get some B-roll footage of guys patrolling and kit and stuff, doing interviews about why they're in Vietnam, like that sort of thing. But Steven's planning the Christmas party. Frucci and Diamond are working on the baseball game, with me kind of like, pushing them along. We'll have the traditional Vietnamese games on one of those days. Probably on Wednesday. And I know like that was like a highlight for a lot of the guys last year. The baseball game is usually the highlight for everybody every year. So the Christmas party's got some competition.
Oh, we'll be good. We've done it once, so there's less to compare it to.
That's very true.
Right.
That's very true. But yeah, that's Operation Code. Oh my God, I was gonna say Operation Koji's Green. No, it's Operation Green Lightning, which is
Guys, he's losing it.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
So we like to officially say the event starts that Thursday, which is July 31st. But for us, the event starts Saturday, July 26th, and is when we start building the base. So guys who want to come early, like, we love you. We want you to come early. We want you to basically arrive to help put the base together and enjoy our time there. There's plenty to do. There's plenty to enjoy. There's a lot of entertainment. We have movies every night. We will have educational stuff. If you want to learn about the Vietnam War, we'll have stuff going on every day. Every day that people are there and willing to work and learn. I don't know what else to say about Green Lightning other than that for now. We'll actually talk about Green Lightning in depth next month for the June podcast, which is the BAE podcast. Come correct to our special podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah. I think that's it, guys. Let's leave it at an hour. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the bush hopefully soon, or definitely soon. Keep registering, guys. We need you to register. We've had a lot of big expenses coming up that, you know, it costs money to start doing all this shit for every year. So just get on it. All right, guys. Thanks.
If you've made it this far, let me add one more thing in, Liam. If
Go
you've
ahead,
made
go
it
ahead.
this
Go
far
ahead.
in the podcast, comment in the BAE Discord, Basement Reenactors Touch Grass.
Hashtag touch grass.
I'll
There we
tell
go.
you what. I'll tell you what then, Steven.
All right.
If they follow your direction, I will give them a power-based sweepstakes entry.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
So if they made it this
All right.
far and they write out, what is it?
Touch grass.
No,
Hashtag touch grass.
Basement Reenactors Touch Grass.
Yes. All right, hear that. Basement Reenactors Touch Grass. Just comment that. That's it. Comment it where? Where should they?
In the BAE Discord.
In the BAE-
Any channel.
Any channel. Okay.
New channel. All right.
All right. All right, guys. Hopefully you're listening then. Take care.
If you don't come correct, I'm gonna find you.